Hello, my friends. In my Heal Plus Create community, I refer to my friends as hello, brilliant creatives. And I'm going to do that with you right now because, as you might know, much of my work is meant to help dissolve the barriers, the beliefs we have about what creativity is and how we use it. And part of that to me is helping us realize that we, in fact, are creatives. And a lot of people go, well, what's that going to do for my life? And that question can be answered in a lot of cases by reading my book, The Creative Cure. But in reality, what it means to me is that we bring aliveness and artfulness into every part of our life, not just in the things we might call, air quotes, creative. And so I'm coming to you right now with something that is in my heart. I've hinted at it before, but I've never made quite such a bold statement about it. And that is, I have been given the delightful, inspiring task of reaching 1 billion people with this, not just the message, but with the experiences of reconnecting with that inner creative self, that power, that authenticity, and the joy. And so as I come to you today with this update for April, I'm feeling excited, because I am sensing this great shift underway in our world. And of course, we've been talking about shifts for a really long time. My parents were hippies. And I remember talking to my mother about what happened at sort of the end of their ride as hippies, just when I was born. And they moved me from California to a little shack in Idaho. I said, what was going on for you? And she said, Jacob, we were in the middle of this intense, intoxicating time that we felt like we could drop enough acid and pick enough flowers and somehow shift the consciousness of the planet all at once. They had so much hope. And then she said the party started to go dead. The racial tensions and riots started to happen around them, and there was darkness and people were dying of drug overdoses. And she said, yeah, and we had babies and we were tired and scared, and all of a sudden the world wasn't shiny and possible anymore, so we had to go find a different way. And many of them crawled back to the things that they had been resisting or seeking to overthrow, the capitalism and the abuses and the fakeness and all of that. Many of them crawled back to that and said, we need a job, we need to survive. And I think that's a very natural impulse. So we've been talking about these shifts for a long time, and the New Age movement that started and then began to roll into the 60s and 70s. And that was said to shift the consciousness of the planet. And we've heard this over and over again. And sometimes it's easy to get discouraged and say, this isn't working. I see it more, and I'd like to invite you to see it more as sort of a tide pattern. You know how the tide comes in during the high tide and it comes all the way up the beach and it washes stuff up and you can see where it stopped. And then it pulls back out during a low tide, during the ebb, and then it comes back in. A lot of times it comes back in higher than before, and so on and so on. That's how I see what we're going through. And I see that we're in a particularly high tide phase on the planet. And the amount of change that we are asked to process, metabolize, experience. I've said this in a lot of other updates before, but I want to bring it back to you, that the rate of change we're experiencing is actually much greater than our psyches are designed to be able to handle and stay sane. Okay. And so part of what I know my mission is to invite people back into their own sanity, into their own peace, into their own bodies, right? Because there's so much wisdom that's stored there, and we are pulled out of that so much of the time. But I don't think I've made the big, bold statement yet. What I'm developing here is meant to touch 1 billion people on this planet. And the reason for that is I know that as in the process of developing a program, a platform, an outreach, all the experiences, in the process of doing that, in the process of more and more people hearing the call and joining and experiencing things for themselves and then taking it home and sharing it with others, in the process of that, we actually do shift the consciousness on the planet. We shift the energy on the planet. I don't know about you, but I would love to live in a planet where we can look at it and go, wow, this planet isn't a hellscape. This planet isn't a shit show. This place is a place I love to live. I'm glad to leave this to my children and grandchildren. Like, why not do that rather than sign on to enroll in the messages of doom and despair and gloom and everything's broken. And what I want to do is invite you to join me in that. And that might mean joining the actual membership at Heal Plus Create. It might mean reading some of the articles on that and sharing them. It might mean simply sitting quietly by yourself today and taking some deep breaths and remembering who you really are, right? Because remember that even if it's done in private, even if it's just you, and I'm going to cancel that word just, even if it's you by yourself in your house, taking a few deep breaths of sanity and peace and retuning to that inner state that's always available to us, but we forget. If it's you doing that by yourself in your house and you don't go out to the world and say even one word to anyone, you simply carry that presence with you that is reconnected to who you really are, reconnected to the intelligence and love and power of the universe. If you do that and don't say a single word about it, simply your presence in the world becomes medicine. You carry that with you, that energy. So I wanted to share a few things that we have coming up this month because I am genuinely so excited. Now, most of these things are available to the paid members on our site, Heal Plus Create, but I want to make the general membership things available to you with a special pass. That means you can join us. You can come and experience this, right, for the month of April. So let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see what we have coming up because I'm very excited. We have spent a lot of effort this last month or two working on this. You are not looking at the right screen. There's the right screen. All right. This first one is Hero on a Mission, and this is a brand new book club, Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller. My brother Nate will be hosting this, and I'm so excited. I asked him to host this himself because he read this book last year, and then he began sharing it with one-on-one with his man friends, and they basically had their own one-on-one book clubs that they were doing. And as I watched this impact my brother's life so profoundly, and then as I read the book, and as I watched it began to impact the lives of the people he was sharing it with, I said, would you please come and do a book club for the membership? Now, this is actually for the membership, which you can join if you prefer, but I want to show you things you can get involved in that you do not have to become a member. You can just use the buddy pass. And the first one is this meditation and journaling using the power of the Enneagram. So we have a Enneagram expert who's also developed special journaling and meditations for the different types of the Enneagram. As part of this process, we'll provide you with a link so that you can get your Enneagram numbers. And if you've never done that before, then this will be really enlightening and interesting. If you have done it before, you can do it again. You might have forgotten what your numbers are. But we want to invite you to do this with us. And if you're a member of my community, you can, this is included in your membership. However, people who are not members can buy a guest ticket for just $9.99. I'm going to include a buddy pass in this email for you so that you can experience that with us and try it out for a month at no extra cost and no credit card required and no gotchas, right? We also have Breathe Your Way Home, special breath work session with Scott Stabile. Please join me and experience this. Buy your ticket with the coupon code, right? But buy your ticket and put it on your calendar and be there, because just saying, yes, that sounds great, and I'll take a free ticket, and not being there means you miss out on the power of this experience. Using nothing but your breath, nothing but your breath, guided by Scott Stabile and wonderful music, you get to dive deeply into the ground of your being. You also get to have really big, fascinating releases. It's an actual journey. It's like a shamanic journey, only not using any plant medicines or anything like that, only using your breath. It's a remarkable experience, and I invite you to join us for that. Some of these things are for the writing community. We do have a special Writing from the Body. It's an introduction workshop with Eva Weaver. Eva has developed a body of work that is remarkable. This is a distillation of her big 12-week program. And when she approached and said, can we share some of this with your community? I said, I'd love to. Why don't we do an introduction first? So this is a 2-hour introduction. We will be having a full day workshop in May with Eva that will expand this even further. And I would love it if you want to join us. Now, this is not available for a buddy pass. So if you're not part of our writing community, you will need to buy a ticket. It's $69. Okay. And then we have reset, rebalance, meditation, and movement to settle your nervous system and reduce anxiety. Meditation and movement. We love this. We do it every month with Paul David Shea, and you can use your buddy pass in this email to try this out with us. A little bit more on the writing community, but here's therapeutic doodling for fun and healing. Karen Channing is a therapist. She has an active therapy practice, and she has been developing this amazing experience of doodling for introspection, for guidance, for gaining clarity, and also for fun. It's really an awesome experience. And what she loves to say is, everyone who can at least draw a crooked line will be able to do this class. So if you can't draw a crooked line, then don't bother. But I know that all of us can draw a crooked line. And even though I've considered myself an artist as a child with, drawing and things, I let some of those skills lapse. And so I find myself doodling very, very poorly. These do not live up to my own expectations of the kind of pictures that I can create. And I love it because it's actually a lot of liberation, a lot of freedom to say it does not have to be perfect or even what I would consider good, right? All right, so those are some of the things we have coming up, and I would love it if you would join us. And I would love it if you can understand that my invitation to join us in these experiences has everything to do with you taking a dip into the ground of your being, into your true inner creative self. We might call it your soul self, your authentic self, whatever name you want to call it. That is alive and well within you, and it wants to offer solutions, guidance, ideas, inspiration, energy, connection. It wants to offer you everything you need that really will make your life feel that much more alive and purposeful. And it also wants to inform you in ways that can help you move beyond past limitations or things that have always held you back or caused pain. Things that you just go, well, that's just me, and you don't love it. You just wish that you could really somehow overcome that old pattern. Part of that process can be self-discovery. The Enneagram thing is part of that. Part of the process of truly experiencing it in your body, so it's no longer just living in your head as yet one more Psychology Today article that you might read or one more podcast that you listen to and wonder what you can do with all that amazing information. As Carl Jung once said, most therapy stops at the level of the chin, meaning it doesn't get into our bodies, which means it's not being fully usable to us, right? And so what I'm inviting you into are these micro experiences, these short bite-sized pieces, experiences of actually getting below your chin, getting into your body, and then noticing how the medicine of that, those experiences, the breathing, the movement, the doodling, the meditations, all these things, how these things begin to infuse and inform other parts of your life in surprising ways. So I'm going to close right now with that. And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for, many of you have been with me for the last decade or longer, subscribers and listening and sharing and feeding back. And I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Your presence has given me fuel during weird, confusing times when I wasn't sure exactly what it was that my mission was. Your presence now gives me the same kind of energy and fuel. So I just want to thank you for being here. You've helped me get to a point of clarity and boldness, feeling courage to take a big step forward and develop things more deeply. And I want to give you that same gift in return. So join me. Let's band together. And why not create, there's Crack Weasel saying hi. Why not create a world? Why not create a world that's healthy, joyful, alive, connected, a world that we'll be happy to leave to our kids and grandkids? I love you all. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you soon.